Chapter 8. Caesar Augustus. The big question. What were some of Caesar Augustus's many accomplishments? Octavian's return. When Octavian returned to Rome, he was 33 years old. Up to that time, he had had a remarkable life. He had been adopted by Julius Caesar as a boy. Then he was named consul of Rome when he was only 19 years old. Octavian and Mark Antony had beaten Caesar's enemies. Each had taken a part of the Roman Empire to command. Then Octavian beat Antony and Cleopatra. He conquered Egypt and took Cleopatra's wealth for himself. He also had 280,000 soldiers in his army. This was just the beginning. Now Octavian was ready to begin the most important part of his life. He was ready now to become ruler of Rome. In this role, Octavian would show himself to be a smart leader who used good sense. Caption: At 33, Octavian was ready to become ruler of Rome. Closing the doors of war. Octavian showed his smart leadership shortly after he returned from Egypt. At that time, the Roman people were celebrating Octavian's victory, which ended the civil war and saved Rome. Octavian led a crowd to the temple of Janus. The temple's gates were left open during times of war. They were closed during peacetime. Rome had almost always been at war, so the gates had rarely been closed. Octavian closed the gates. This act showed the Roman people they would now live in peace. Octavian then set out to fulfill this promise. Soon afterward, Octavian bought land for his soldiers. He told them it was time to leave the army and go back to being farmers. Octavian himself went back to his job as consul. He was re-elected 3 years in a row. Then he told the Senate he wanted to give back all his power. He would serve Rome in any way the Senate decided. The Senate decided that Octavian should command the armies in all the large provinces. They also decided that Octavian should have a new name. He was to be called Caesar Augustus. Augustus is a Latin word that means revered one. To be revered is to be the most admired and respected. Augustus was named the first citizen of Rome, and the month of his birth was renamed for him. Today, we call that month August. July had already been named for Julius Caesar. Augustus was not a king or a dictator. All his power came from the Senate. He was always respectful of the senators and the assemblies. The senators trusted Augustus because he used his power wisely. Augustus used his power to name new governors for the provinces and new senators. He also made changes in the Roman army. He paid soldiers more money. This helped make the army a good place for poor men to earn a living. Augustus built good roads throughout the Roman Empire. These roads connected Rome and the provinces. Augustus often visited the provinces to check if the governors were doing a good job. Augustus rebuilds Rome. At the end of the Civil War, Rome was a dirty, overcrowded city. Most of the streets and buildings needed repair. The aqueducts, which carried water to the city, were also crumbling. Many people who had lost their land during the Civil War now lived in Rome. They were poor and hungry. They lived in old buildings that often caught fire or collapsed. Vocabulary: aqueduct, noun, a structure for carrying water across long distances. Caption: Augustus led Rome to new heights of glory. Augustus bought food for the poor. He rebuilt many old buildings. He made laws to require that all buildings met safety standards. He started Rome's first fire and police departments. He put Agrippa, his naval commander, in charge of the city's water supply. Agrippa and his forces rebuilt the old aqueducts. Augustus wanted everyone to know about the citizens who had helped to make Rome great. He built a beautiful new forum in Rome. Around this new forum, he placed statues of Roman heroes. Augustus filled the city with beautiful new buildings. He built theaters, meeting places, and a grand new Senate building. He changed Rome from a dirty, ugly place to one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Augustus also helped make Roman religion stronger. He repaired Rome's old temples and built new ones. He brought back many old religious ceremonies and festivals. Augustus loved books and ideas. He often visited with writers and poets to listen as they read their work aloud. Vocabulary, religious ceremony, phrase, a formal event to honor a god or goddess. Picture caption. The beautiful pantheon was used to worship all of the Roman gods. The original pantheon was built by Agrippa during the rule of Augustus. He asked wealthy Romans to be patrons to writers. These patrons gave money to writers so they could keep writing. During the time of Augustus, talented writers wrote many great works. People today still read some of these great works. Vocabulary, patron, noun, a person who gives money or other support to someone, such as an artist. Emperor, noun, the ruler of an empire. Rome's first emperor. Rome honored Augustus for rebuilding the city and making life better for the people. They named him Father of his country. Later, he was called Rome's first emperor. Augustus was the most powerful man in the world, yet he lived simply. His house was small. His meals were plain. He was loyal to his wife and family and the Roman people. Augustus ruled as emperor from 27 BCE until 14 CE. The letters CE stand for the phrase Common Era. The Common Era began with the birth of Jesus, so Augustus ruled until 14 years after the birth of Jesus. Caesar Augustus had a long and successful rule.